Hey, what's up, everybody? This is BP, the mentor, Cash Flow Kris, sitting down over here. We are with our good buddy Ryan Harper from Propelio, and we're about to go live on their show.
10 seconds.
In 10 seconds. So you are good to see us live as long as see them live, and you already know how it goes with the AZ Flip guys. All right.
Are you doing the fade? I guess not. Hey, everybody, it's Ryan with Propelio. I think we're live. We might be live. You know how it is. It's been a week. So, if you went to the San Antonio event, thank you. If you went to Houston, thank you. Today, we've got some special guests in the office. They're in all the way from Arizona. They're on their way to, buy an apartment complex in Arkansas?
That's exactly what we're here for.
So, they're the AZ Flip guys. You got Kris and BP. Really excited to have these guys in here. So if you're watching live with us, drop some comments, drop some likes, drop some questions, and help us forward this conversation along.
Yes.
I believe the conversation we're going to start with is, wholesaling, transitioning to flipping, transitioning to the rental, landlording, and then going, hey, screw it, let's go multifamily.
That is correct. That's correct. Well, and the great...
You gave me the eyes.
Yeah.
That is correct.
The great thing about what we do here with the AZ Flip guys is, first of all, if you guys ain't following on the AZ Flip guys, Facebook.com, right in the freaking, Facebook.com/AZ Flip guys, or under the search box, AZ Flip guys. Make sure that not only hit like, but make sure that you hit follow so you can get all of our content. I'm gonna let you guys know right now, we don't sell shit, we don't pitch shit, we're not offering you any type of program, coaching, or any of that stuff.
But they say shit a lot.
Oh yeah, we say shit and cussing all the time. And that's actually part of the allure of the AZ Flip guys. We're just two ordinary guys doing extraordinary things. And that's one of the things that we purposely dress like this. We purposely go, he normally has his cap on. We want to let you guys know that we're just regular people, just regular everyday persons. So you might be sitting there watching this show and you're like, man, I wish one day I could make some money wholesaling. Yeah. If I could just make $2,000 on a wholesale, if I could make $5,000 on a wholesale one time, man, it would be awesome. Just letting you guys know, we're just regular ass dudes. His dad was a cop, my dad was a construction worker. My mom cleaned toilets most of her life, still does probably. And your mom, I don't know what she did, but we were just regular blue collar people.
Yeah, and it's kind of interesting because we went to brunch yesterday and we were actually talking about how people will look up to you guys and how, oh my God, and then all at the same time, the way people will look up to you, you have those people who you look up to, and it's that cycle of just keep in mind, in 3 or 4 years, somebody might be looking up to you.
Exactly.
So,
and it's weird. We were talking about this yesterday at brunch, how it's weird when people come up to you and they're like, oh my God, I saw you online, or I've been following you on social media, or it's such an honor to talk to you. Oh my God, it's so freaking amazing. But we all have that. And one thing that I will tell you guys is that you never know who you're going to inspire. I was very, very cautious or conscious when I first started about, I don't really want to be talking about my checks, and I don't want to be bragging because it's going to feel like I'm rubbing it into people's faces. But what ended up happening is that the more that I put out my successes out there, and even my failures and my struggles, a lot of people were able to resonate and kind of come in. And one of the things that we like about the AZ Flip guys is you can tell I'm the fucking face, I'm the voice. Kris is more.
He's brain. He's the looks.
He's the brain.
Who's the looks?
He's the brains. He's the numbers.
Yeah.
I'm definitely the looks. I'm definitely the personality.
Ooh, I gotta disagree on that one.
But he's married though, so I don't know.
So what we try to do on this show is we try not to pat ourselves on the back too much. We try to get straight to the content as quickly.
Perfect.
Not that you aren't. But so we're talking about wholesaling, and I think in the world of wholesaling, or real estate in general, people are always like, wholesaling. Oh, it's the way to go because no money. But the reality is, it takes some money. If you want to market or maybe you just want to steal some bandit signs and spray paint them and then make them your own. I don't know if you got guys that do that.
So what you don't know is that, and you guys can do this just for shits and giggles. You can do this later. Go to YouTube and type in Bandit Signs 101, and you'll see my pretty face. I've been running a bandit sign company. My brother runs it now, but I started a bandit sign company in Phoenix 10 years ago.
Okay.
So that's how I know a lot of people there, and we've dealt with every aspect of bandit signs. However, when it comes to wholesaling specifically, the reason why most people teach wholesaling, the reason why most people look at wholesaling is because that's the easiest way to get into real estate, relatively, meaning the least amount of risk with the highest amount of reward. with the least amount of money possible. Now, you do still have to spend some money, but one of the things that we teach with the AZ Flip guys is all about networking.
Right.
Like, I literally ran a wholesale business for over 5 years with no marketing whatsoever, just by connecting people.
For sure, we definitely, when we got into it, we did what we were taught. I've done the yellow letters, I've done the bandit signs, I've done it all. And yeah, it works to a certain extent, but we both found that just networking is absolutely the best way to have deals come to you, have money come to you.
Right.
It just makes life a lot easier the more people you know.
Yeah, and we talk about that here all the time. And I guess at brunch we were talking about how y'all made a joke of it because every episode is about networking, how you want to reel, just networking.
Well, people, the number one question, especially when we talk about wholesaling in general and flipping, but just wholesaling, where do you get your deals? How do you get your deals? How do you get your leads? How do you get your leads? It's like it's programmed in their head to just ask how. And then it's always the same shit. Do you use bandit signs? Do you use yellow letters? Do you use postcards? And it's like the same thing.
Right.
And the number one way is I just network. I just talk to people. I say, hey man, how's it going? How you doing? And that is the easiest way. But the thing with going through the progressions is that a lot of times, so if you're working at a call center right now, right? And you hate your fucking life. And every day you get up and crap, I gotta go to work.
I can vouch for that, man. My last real job was at a call center. I hated my life.
There's nobody working. There's nobody. I don't care what you tell me, man. There is nobody working in a call center that likes that shit.
No way.
Not one person.
I love talking to a million people that all hang up on me. I just love it.
They don't. Just like there's no old person working at a Home Depot or at a Walmart that is doing it because they're bored. Fuck no. They're doing it because they need that money to supplement their income.
Or their insurance or whatever, yeah.
It's very hard for somebody working in a call room to envision themselves owning an apartment complex out of state.
Right.
It's so much easier so if I take a little bit of money and I do a little bit of marketing, I might get something and I might lock up a deal and I'm gonna make a few $1,000s. That seems realistic to them. Mm-hmm. That's within reach to them. And that's where a lot of people start with wholesaling.
Right.
And we teach all the time that even if you're gonna go into fixing and flipping, we still suggest that you start wholesaling first.
Well, it's interesting because I think, like you said, everybody jumps into wholesaling because the barriers to entry is relatively small. Mm-hmm. The risk is relatively small. And yes, it doesn't take money to start because all it does is take effort, takes work, the rah-rah work, all that. Because you could do the bandit signs.
Hashtag rah-rah work.
Hashtag rah-rah work. Yeah,
we talked about that yesterday.
But even with a bandit sign, it's I don't know if you can get an old pizza box and Sharpie that shit and throw it on their wall. So it's the whole do the work motto and just go out there and do it. But on the flip side, to be a really good wholesaler, you need to be a student and know what the hell you're talking about because the professional wholesalers, they know the exit before they even bought the house.
Of course.
And they already know who their target seller or target buyer is going to be. But I think it takes a progression, it takes experience to get to that point. Because ideally, a real wholesaler is also, flipping.
Well, so here's the thing, and I don't want to get off the subject, but this is exactly how this works, which is it's all mental. It's all mental. The reason why you are still working at a job is because you don't believe that you can not do better than that. The reason why you are still stuck wholesaling for 5 years is because you don't believe that you can take down a house, you can't get a hard money loan or get that. The reason why you've been flipping for the last 10 years and don't own an apartment complex is because you don't believe that you can. Yeah. It's all mental. It's all 100% mental.
And you know what? They just
I feel like I'm being
man, you don't even know. I'm telling you, you guys don't even want to get me going. But here's the thing, guys. The reason why you guys are there, it's all in your freaking head.
Yeah.
It's a lot easier to believe, hey, I can put out some marketing. I can do a lot of freaking work. So if you go to my personal Facebook page, on my background picture, not this one, but the last one, it has the word hustle, then it's crossed out, and it says it has the word aligned. Ooh. And I've been so on this shit. I grew up in the streets of Los Angeles. I grew up as a hustler. My very first sales job was literally door-to-door, business-to-business, selling crap. Selling attaché bags, lighters, coloring books, water guns. I mean, just everything that we could fit into. We used to meet in a warehouse just like this.
Yeah.
And we used to get these boxes from China, and then we would all get a box, fill it up with crap, fill up our trunk with crap, and then we would carry this one box, go door to door, right? it really drew. It created these big old thick skin outside of me, and it made me. That's kind of where my personality comes in, where I had to figure out how to sell these things to different people, right? Most people are extremely afraid of ever doing anything outside of the regular box.
Right.
So pretty much everybody watching us that has a regular job wants to start their own business, but they won't do it because they're very afraid of what that is. And in their mind, the only thing that they know is work, 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 work.
Right.
You want to make more money? Work, 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 work. Go back to school. Go get another degree. Work. Get a second job. Get a third job. Nobody ever tells you the best way to evolve in life is to work on your mental game. Because that's not sexy. That's not attractive. You know, you going and, oh guys, you gotta work, you gotta out hustle your next opponent.
Yeah.
You know that horseshit, man. You gotta breathe more than you want to success, more than you want air, and that all that fucking WWF shit doesn't work. It sounds nice.
Well, speaking of mental game, you know, because y'all are in a different market, because in DFW, to be a wholesaler or flipper or whatever, the whole yellow letter campaign, the whole, you know, sending out mail, direct mail, it works, but it's not as successful as, say, 3 to 5 years ago.
Of course.
So in Phoenix, where y'all are at, what are those marketing strategies that are the most successful out there that maybe other markets can tap into?
No, man, it doesn't work that way, Ryan. I mean, you know this, man. Phoenix is one of the most competitive markets in all of the land. You know what I mean? We have more gurus. So this weekend we were at a class, and I was talking to one of the biggest marketers, one of the biggest wholesalers in town, complaining about how a friend of mine had like a less than 1% call rate on his mailers, and the guru was like, "Oh no, that's not bad. That is bad, you know."
Yeah.
Network, man. We don't. You got to know people,
right?
You know that's what it always comes down to.
But like for the sellers, though, are you saying you're taking your networking game and going, okay, if I'm at Walmart, I'm making friends with all the clerks, all the baggage, everybody.
You can. I have made. Last time I made $20,000 from my barber. I like to vacation a lot. I love to travel a lot. I tell everybody what I do. I show up one day after a vacation. He's like, dude, where you been? I'm like, dude, I'm fucking in Costa Rica, bro. I'm like, what's you want? He's like, my mother-in-law has a property here. Some guys told her they could buy it. They weren't able to perform. I told her about you, and so we're not going to call anybody until you show up. And then I was able to lock up the property. I was able to wholesale it. The thing is I didn't even wholesale it. I brought it to my buddy, not him, but somebody else said, hey, Merle, I don't want to sell this shit. Sell it to somebody. He sold it for 40 grand. We split that down the middle. I made 20 and moved on.
So your number one marketing strategy is just literally every single human you see, you're like, I'm in real estate, I buy, fix up, flip, all it.
Well, not really. So I let everybody know what we do.
Right.
You should let everybody know what you do. However, because I grew up in the hood, I got this analogy that I use. It's a lot easier to get drugs from a drug dealer than it is from a drug user, right? The homeowner is the drug user. They only have a very limited amount of that substance that we want, which is houses in this particular asset. However, if you go to the drug dealer, which is somebody that has access to a lot of places, now you're talking.
So who are these drug
dealers? Would be other wholesalers, would be other investors. You have no idea how many other flippers you can go to and network with them and be like, bro, if you got something that you can't take down, you don't have any money, blah, 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 you just want to wholesale. There's a lot of times where I did those conversations and people are like, oh yeah, actually, speaking of that, I just locked one up yesterday. I don't even want to deal with this crap. So
you're saying like professional flippers who are not necessarily tapped into the wholesaling world, using them, be like, look, I'll help you out with this because I do this full time.
Well, and vice versa.
Yeah,
professional wholesalers.
And on a lot of these, we're not going to be a direct to the seller, so that's not our main strategy anymore.
Right.
The whole
we'll get there. I know.
The whole networking game works a lot easier when you're flipping because wholesalers have to get that extra.
Well, but like I said, I ran my wholesaling business strictly from networking. So I would meet people at events. I teach my students, go to events. That's actually my number one thing that we do when I teach them and I'm training them. And I tell them, look, guys, watch Karate Kid, and this is Karate Kid. You're now waxing the car. You're now painting the face. It doesn't look like you're doing anything. Right. And I actually specifically tell them to go to events that are not real estate related, just to go talk to practice with people. But then you go and you just start letting people know what it is that you do, and people start coming. I've gotten deals so I had the bandit sign company that I mentioned. I was networking back in that day, promoting that service and product. some people would use my service, some people wouldn't, but I stayed connected with all those people. A lot of those people that had businesses ended up lending me money. A lot of those people ended up doing deals for me, and a lot of those people ended up referring me to somebody that was selling a house, that was doing a flip, that was doing something where I was able to work my way into a deal one way or the other.
Right.
And it was strictly all from networking. And here's the thing, guys, is networking is not the sexy answer. It's not, because it doesn't sound like the magic pill. People want to be like, all right, look, so here's you do is you get an 8x12 and you have to write it with red.
It's got to be 83 feet apart from each other.
Horseshit, because that might work for them. Mm-hmm. My personality, the way that I talk and everything, that works for me. That doesn't work for Kris. It works for me. But one thing that is universal across all aspects, from wholesaling to flipping and now multifamily, is network, right?
So, subtle plug, next Monday, we're having a big old event here in Grapevine, the DFW Real Estate Investor Meetup, 5 o'clock to 10 o'clock. The bar is going to be open. Happy hour. We got Crown, we got Tito's, we got pretty much all the liquors you can need. We'll also have Chick-fil-A. The event's free. Presentations start at 6 and they go to whenever. But the bar area will be open, networking the entire time.
Now, here's how much I believe in this.
Plug.
I don't get anything from this, right? I'm not even going to be in town, so it doesn't even matter to me one or the other. If you are anywhere near the vicinity, even within an hour's drive of this, make the drive.
And if you want to fly in from Arizona, I'll pick you up from the airport.
Yeah, exactly. Dude, I'm telling you guys, networking. Get with people. So it's not what you know, it's who you know, right?
Right. But again, though, forgive me for pushing back. I understand the power of networking. We talk about networking all the time here. But that being said, there's no way in hell somebody can run like 5, 10, 12 houses a month wholesaling on networking alone. There's got to be bandit signs. There's got to be cold calling. There's got to be door knocking. Like, what are those strategies that y'all are seeing or used to see, or the guy out there that's the big dog?
Sure, yeah, we've done it all, man.
Yeah.
In the past, we've done it all, but it's just
What was your favorite?
My favorite?
Other than networking.
I mean, I had a great mailing list that got dried up,
Yeah.
Different things work in different markets too, and at different times. You know what? In 2010, I bought everything off the MLS because there was tens of thousands of REOs out there, right?
Right.
Today, there's not any REOs.
Yeah, after that, we were buying all HUD homes and stuff.
Yeah,
we were
short
buying
sales.
from,
for a long time, we did
from the
nothing but
auctions.
short sales. Today, we don't even look at short sales. So you got to know what your market is, and you got to know the timing as well.
But every single one of those shifts, I was able to tap into by networking.
So speaking of shifting, because that's what kind of what we're talking about today. Well, actually, I think we're just talking, but whatever. So going from, sorry.
I see we got some comments over here. Do you?
We'll
we
get
got
there.
some comments down here too.
I can't read that.
Do you guys like to talk to your people?
We do talk to our people.
Like Elizabeth Thornton, great tip. What
Other
we got there?
events,
Great tip. Other if it's not real estate related, absolutely. So what are some BP? What are some that you like to do that non-real estate related? Why don't you tell them about 2% Club?
So basically anything that's personal development related. A lot of times people ask me, hey bro, what is it that you do most of the day? Because once again, that's another bullshit question that you're taught to ask. Hey, you're successful, what's your day look like? Well, most of my day I'm spending smoking weed and really just like trying to keep myself in a positive mental state. People don't like that, right? So the next question is, well, what real estate books do you read? Or what real estate events do you go in? Which is normally, the answer is none. The majority of my education, the majority of my meetings are professional, personal development events. And the thing is that you want to be with people that are a higher elevation than you are. So whether they're in your industry or not, preferably if they're in the industry, but sometimes you don't have that luxury until you start. It's like you want to talk to this chick, but you need to use this chick as practice so you can build up your confidence, right?
I think I'm the ugly friend. Right?
You're the shrapnel.
Yeah. Well, I just happen to be left-handed, so I always lean everything to my left-hand side.
He likes cushions.
So you practice, right? Hey, if this person tells me no, then fuck it, it's not what I wanted anyway. And that's exactly how it goes. But personal development stuff is great. You'll meet a lot of people that are in other aspects of it. And at the end of the day, it all comes down to money. So when you're wholesaling, you can actually team up with somebody, say, hey bro, you got some money. Here's the thing is, I'm doing wholesaling, you can pay for marketing, I'll do everything, and then I'll split you part of the profit after getting you back.
Yeah, and that's another thing we talk about just as much as networking is the creative side of things. So as far as what event should I go to, that are not real estate related, just get creative. I mean, you can probably go to a speed dating thing and just start, hey, you want to sell your house? You want to sell your house?
Any networking event that I wouldn't suggest you go to a speed networking thing, because then you're just going to be, dudes ain't going to be wanting to talk to you about business.
You should probably get a lot of numbers.
You probably would get another numbers, but that's not what they would be interested in. However, though, just any regular networking event, just any regular, especially if you're getting started and you're just trying to go to the one where the fucking Avon lady is. Go to the one where they have 3 representatives for Herbalife, some freaking like Primerica, and a bunch of other crap that people are going to be switching, and 6 months later they're going to be pitching something else.
We did an episode the other day, maybe a week or two ago, with Grant teaching something, and we were talking about actually like learning some negotiating skills and actually just trying them out, not on the actual house seller, but like if you're at a networking event, try out those skills to manipulate the conversation the way you want to do it.
We were just at a high level networking, or it was a class on buying apartments. I mean, we're talking high level. I don't know the net worth of that room.
Yeah.
We were all doing role play.
Yeah.
At every level, it never hurts to practice.
Yeah. So we're talking about the transitioning side. So at what point in your career, because everybody in real estate makes mistakes, and we're always like, damn it, I should have done this, I should have done that. At what point in your wholesaling career were you like, okay, we need to start flipping? And why did you make that transitioning? Or is it just the natural flow of wholesaler to flipper,
I think it's a natural progression. As an entrepreneur, the gift and the curse of being an entrepreneur is that you're never satisfied. You always want more. There's always that next thing to do. So when you were working at a job that you hated, the only thing that you wanted to do was knock out one wholesale deal. Then you knocked out your first wholesale deal, you made $2,000-$3,000, and you're like, I want to do this again. My next goal is to replace my income. So now I don't even have to go to this job. I can do wholesaling forever. And meeting with sellers is fun, and responding to the letters is fun, and all that stuff, right? It's still a job. But it's fun for you at that point. Eventually, at some point, that's not fun anymore.
Yeah.
When I decided that I wanted to go into flipping, and actually even before that, when I was wholesaling, I got tired of talking to sellers. Most people are like, well, you got to talk to the sellers because that's where you're going to get your biggest profit, and you're going to get the best deal.
The smells.
I hated talking to sellers. Well, I painted the house myself, so it should be worth more than all the houses in the neighborhood. I did the sweat equity. Oh, God damn it, dude. And then it was emotional. If you come into me as a wholesaler, you can be like, look, BP, here's what I got. I want 120. Be like, man, go fuck yourself, bro. I'm not going to pay 120. This shit's not even worth 120 fixed up. Go fuck yourself.
Yeah.
You're not going to you probably might not get offended. Some people do, but most people don't, because it's just business.
Yeah.
Like, go renegotiate that shit. If it works out, here's the price that I'm willing to pay for it. If you can't find somebody else that buys it for you, then great. But you start progressing and naturally. So initially, you start flipping, and you're like, back at that time we were making $2,000 to $5,000 per wholesale deal, and then you're seeing that the flipper is making $20,000 to $30,000 profit per deal. So you're like, I kind of want to do that.
At the end of the day, it goes back to the whole, who cares what the wholesaler is making, because you should be worried about your numbers, not somebody else's numbers. And again, it does sting when, oh shit, I just knocked this one out of the park, made 30 grand, and then you learn later your wholesaler made 50. And you're like, damn it.
And we don't care. We've never.
Nah, you shouldn't.
We've talked about that many times. When we started the AZ Flip guys, we were doing a lot. I was doing like 15 flips at a time. I think Kris was like at 16 to 18 flips at a time. So we were doing a lot of flips. And one of the things that we told everybody is, we don't care how much you make, bro. If you lock this shit up for $5 and you make 100 grand and we only make 20, who cares? As long as I was okay with that. And we've always followed that philosophy. So when you're wholesaling, eventually, you see the next level, and it's almost a natural progression.
Right.
Sometimes people will move up to flipping, and then say, you know what, I don't really like this. I would want to go back to wholesaling because now I don't have any risk.
I think a lot of it also is the fact that because in the entrepreneur world, it's only natural to want to do more. It's only natural to grow your interest, because if you do the same damn thing every damn day, you're going to be like, okay, well, maybe I want to add this little piece to the pie. So flipping.
Well, you wouldn't be an entrepreneur if you didn't have that in you anyway.
Right.
Because you would have been one of those people that just would have been content following the system. You wouldn't have, you might have thought about it, but you didn't have the balls to actually quit your job and go do it.
Right.
Now that you do, you become that type of person. And as you go, you're like, okay, there's a next step, there's a next step, there's a next step. And you can choose to continue to just grow out your wholesale business, or you can continue to move into flipping, and a lot of people choose flip.
Sean Burke, he watches the show a lot. He would say, I think when we were talking about networking, but didn't it take time for you to get to that point, where people knew who you were? You did the other marketing first, then you free your name.
No.
Process.
Not at all.
You gain experience how to use networking.
A lot of people really don't want to kind of believe it. I don't know. We get resistance all the time. I mean,
So,
it's really how we built the businesses.
You're a big dude. I'm a big dude. We know how to lose weight, right? I mean, dude, let's cut the horse shit.
I know theoretically.
Okay, no. What is the two things that we need to do to lose weight?
Eat less.
And
do more.
Exercise. Exactly.
Yeah.
We know this shit. We know it because we know it because we know
Gotta get my steps in.
We don't want to believe it because it's so freaking simple.
Yeah.
When I tell people, look, literally, I just spend time meditating and really focusing on positive energy and focusing on the feeling that I want to attract, and shit just works out for me. They don't believe me. They don't believe me, but shit just works out for me. Like we're sitting there, we locked up our apartment complex. We thought it was a 25-unit apartment complex. Come to find out, there's an extra 2-bedroom, 1-bath house on the unit. As a 25-unit apartment complex, it was already a smoking deal anyway. So now we just got an extra piece of the puzzle because shit just works out for us anyway. So to answer Sean's question over here, one of my mentoring students, I started him about 6 months ago. This guy is dumb. Dumb as shit, man. I love the guy, but he is dumb as fuck. And he's a horrible student. Like most people are. Meaning that not only are they not going to do what we tell them, but they're going to do the exact opposite, right?
They're locked in what they think
They're locked in what they think they should be. So his thought process is not networking, bandit signs, yellow letters. Yeah, so I'm like, networking. It takes him about 2-3 months before he starts networking. He finally goes around to networking. He locks up some really crappy deal from Craigslist, which is hugely overpriced. He sells it. He found it through networking. He sold it through networking. He made $4,000 through networking. His first buyer fell out. Through networking, he found his second buyer. That guy who bought the second property then turned around and said, hey, I got some other properties for you. Could you help me sell this other property? Now he's got his second property locked up where he's going to make another $4,000, all from networking. And this guy is dumb. Like, this guy's dumb. But he just followed the instructions. And guys, this is the problem, is every single one of you guys outsmart yourself. My mentor says this all the time. Complicated is interesting. Simple is doable. People don't like simple. This is why people love the Grant Cardones and all that shit of the world, because they're like, boom, boom, and if you go here and if you lock it up, and then you go here and 5 years later refinance,
use my Lambo.
Horse shit.
Who wants to work 10 times harder?
No.
Man, not me.
What about just, hey man, I'm gonna go out there, I'm gonna talk to people, and I'm gonna get to know them in a genuine basis. I'm gonna go hang out with them. I'm going to get, hey, what do you have going on? I tell my students, when you got nothing going on, you call your list of networking.
Right, but there's a difference between that and being lackadaisical, because that still takes effort. It still takes work to go out there and
and network. Yeah, of course.
There's still the rah-rah work aspect.
It's not rah-rah work, and that's where people are more behind getting up in the middle of the night, writing their own bandit signs, driving around and placing them because it feels like work. I feel, I got some
when they
sweat
can
equity.
pay somebody like $1.
Exactly. As opposed to, let me get up, let me get out of my comfort zone, let me go to that networking event, let me not hang out with my friend the whole freaking time. Let me go, how you doing, sir, blah, 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 let me get your information, awesome. How you doing, let me get your information, how you doing, let me get your information. Actually sit there, decipher, this guy, I don't think he was that interesting, that person I might want to follow up with, and then go again, and again, and again, and again, and again.
A big point of this is it's really not how many people you know, it's how many people know you.
Right.
Because if you go collect a whole bunch of cards and you never, connect with anybody, what's going to happen? Nothing's going to happen.
So what's the best? So okay, I feel like we're transitioning and not really doing what we're talking about. But networking is great.
It's the same thing because this is what I'm telling you. This is the whole Daniel's son thing, right? It doesn't seem like it doesn't seem like it's about real estate, but it's all about real estate.
But you're talking about the follow up. Okay, so you go out and meet these people, because some people, they need everything to be written out verbatim what they need to do. What they need to be doing. So if I go to a networking event and I get 50 business cards, and I shake hands, what do you do? Throw them in a
Your job
mail
is then follow up with them.
Okay, how do I follow
physically call them?
Yeah, like you said, separate them. Who are the ballers? Who are the people that you don't even really need to know, and go from there.
And then you call the people that you want to be like. So you go to a networking event and you end up meeting an attorney, right? An attorney is a drug dealer. He may have access to a lot of houses. He may be a divorce attorney that has all these things. It may be a probate attorney. You don't know what the hell you're getting into. You call this guy. Hey, how's it going, Joe? Hey, I met you last time. Dude, you were really freaking cool. By the way, what is it that you do? Tell me a little bit more about what you do, because people love talking about themselves. Right. Tell me about what you do. So he's going to give you all this stuff. All right, perfect. Well, here's what I do. So if there's any way that I can help you out, let me know. If you come across any clients that need my type of services or anything, or just anything related to real estate, let me know. And this is how I get them all the fucking time. By the way, I network a lot. So if there's anything that you need at all, give me a holler. Because if I don't have it, I can probably find it through when I network.
And that's not just talk, because we got hookups on everything. Like seriously, if someone in Phoenix needs something, they call us, because no matter what, it doesn't have to do with
So you're the lawyer. You have nothing to do with probate. You have nothing to do with divorce, right? You say, hey, you know what, Brian? I could really use a landscaper. And I'm like, oh shit, I know Jose. Man, I met him last week here, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
Whenever you get any type of real estate opportunity, you're going to contact me first. You're going to tell all your friends and family that there's this guy. They don't even know if I'm good at real estate or not. They just know that they like me.
So I'm going to throw this out there, because I know there's a couple people going, oh, I could profit by this by doing affiliates and getting referral commissions. Like, what do you think about that? Like, because I know my opinion would be do the freebie, like get everybody connected until I'm that top dog, until everybody comes to me, and then maybe try to get a referral thing out of it.
I partner as much as possible. I believe in partnering. Yeah, that's one of the things that when I was wholesaling, I noticed there was a lot of people like, I'm not going to wholesale unless I make $5,000. I'd be like, fuck you, dude. You got me $500 just for giving you like, hell yeah, that's it. My favorite check to this day. I was sitting in my couch in my underwear. I was smoking a blunt and I was drinking some like scotch or something, right? It was probably like noon or something along those lines. There was a lady in Singapore who had a house in Phoenix that we were signing via DocuSign. So I grabbed my phone and I'm signing this thing via DocuSign. The next day at about 9, 10 a.m., a guy comes, knocks on my door and gives me a check for $1,000. My favorite check to date.
Just because you were still in your underwear?
Because I did it my way. I did it the way that I wanted to. It gives me little chuckles that I can do that.
Yeah.
And that's where people don't get that you can easily transition. It's not about the
well, that's what I love about real estate is there is so many ways to like skin a cat.
Yes.
There's so many ways, and we talk about daily about how just get creative. It's almost like the wild, wild west. There was a post in one of the Facebook groups yesterday where a realtor was bashing wholesalers, and they need to be really regulated. It's like, well, probably, but at the same time, yeah, it's very wild, wild west, which is, if it's like that, that means there's opportunity to make money.
There's opportunity in everywhere that you go. And my mentor taught us that it doesn't take money to make money, it takes creativity to make money. So you could literally be broke as hell, come from absolutely nothing like I did. Come from immigrant parents that have no concept of savings, no concept of wealth, no concept of anything other than just working enough to pay the fucking bills and still be able to make money by just being creative. And that's the awesome part about real estate. So we talk a lot about networking, but even through networking, you can use your own personality. So if you're a bean counter type of analytical type, you can create a business in real estate that allows you to do that. If you are more like, hey man, I just love networking and connecting with people, I joke around, but this is true. The majority of my money is made smoking weed, drinking alcohol, or eating food with people. That's really the
medical.
Yeah, we're from Arizona. We have my medical card just so before you guys start tripping.
So that's the takeaway for the day is if you want to be successful in real estate, smoke a lot of weed, drink a lot of scotch, and
network.
And network in your underwear.
Can't just do the first two.
That's what works for me.
Yeah.
Right.
You need to figure out who you are and make that work for you. However, at the end of the day, though, it still comes down to networking. Because through networking, you can meet the people that are going to help you. I might be like, hey, Ryan, dude, I've been watching your show, and like, dude, you're the type, you believe the same stuff that I believe, like you act the same way that I act. I want to be just like you. Where somebody might see me on camera.
Here's 3 pizzas.
Somebody might see me on camera and might be turned off. Might be like, oh, I don't like that guy. That guy's a little too out there, and the whole weed smoking and the whole profanity. Like, I don't really like that. Where on the other side, some other person might be like, dude, I fucking love that, bro. Like, dude, the fact that you're talking about
Well,
that is
I know,
so awesome.
was it Renee Daniels? She was like, man, you were awesome. You're hilarious.
And that's,
Loves an attitude.
It goes where it goes. But, back to
Thanks
our...
for watching, by the way.
Yes, thank you guys for
Yeah,
watching.
and this is why we're not buttoned down. This is not, this is why, because we want to do what we want to do. We want to hang out with people we want to hang out with, and we want to do business with people that we like.
Right.
Why would you want to do business with someone you don't
And
like?
honestly, guys, it's a mindset. Whether you can go from working a 9 to 5 to wholesaling, it's a mindset. Whether you can go from wholesaling to flipping, it's a mindset. I remember the first flip that I did, how scary it was to lock in my first hard money loan. At 16% interest only.
Ooh.
Yes. I remember how scary that was. I remember calling, because everything I do through networking. So I had spent many years wholesaling. Guess what? When I was going to flip, I called every single one of these motherfuckers that would buy houses from me. Now, are they going to tell me no? I just made them a few $100,000 over the last few years.
Right.
If I say, hey, Joe, I'm about to flip a house. You flipped 100 of them. Are you going to give me some advice? He'll be like, no, go fuck yourself.
Right.
Of course not. They're going to be like, oh, yeah, talk to my tile guy. Here's my other guy. Do this. Here's do that.
So speaking of that, I think that's a great segue, because we're talking about the transitioning aspect. So if you're a wholesaler and you've been wholesaling to all these people, and you've grown your network to all these people, and you know all the hard money lenders because you've networked them, you know all the flippers, making that transition should be easy, because even if there's something that you don't know, tap into your network and be like, hey, what's going on here?
It's only easy
Hey,
if
Chris,
you,
help me up over here.
It's only easy if you believe that you can do it.
Yeah.
So I got a chance to speak on stage with Les Brown last month. And I was hiking with my friend, and she was like, I love Les Brown, because I was on stage. I reminded her. She's like, I was listening. My favorite quote he said is, the hardest thing that I ever did was make $1 million. No, the hardest thing that I ever did, no, the easiest thing that I ever did was make $1 million. The hardest thing that I ever did was believe that I could make $1 million. And it all goes back into the head. It all goes back into the same concept of whether you believe it or not. So I am lazy. I'm proud to say that I'm lazy. I'm not the smartest guy around. It's all right. I don't need to be the smartest guy around, but I surround myself with people that know what they're doing. So when when you hear people talk about flipping, you always hear the horror stories. The contractor screwed me over, the this, the that, the realtor was an idiot. But I never took those chances. I only hired people who had worked for people that I knew that had my
Referral.
back. So I had already wholesaled you for 10 years, right? And you made a shit ton of money from me.
Right.
I say, hey, bro, I need you to hook me up with your tile guy, right?
Yeah.
So now I would call the tile guy and be like, hey, man, Ron connected me with you. And by the way, I need you to check him. So anyway, I need you to give me a good price because Ron said that you were going to take care of me. And
By the way, I think you called me like 3 or 4 different names.
probably. Doesn't matter.
I know. It's all real estate. It's a free show. Get over it. It's Facebook. It's Facebook.
So this is what it was. I knew that person, had I met the exact same contractor on Craigslist, and he didn't know who I was or anything.
Charge you double, take
Charge me
advantage.
double,
who
take
knows?
advantage, exactly. But because he knew that this guy gives him a whole lot of fucking work,
Yeah.
and now I'm his buddy, he's gonna make sure that he doesn't screw me over because he doesn't want to affect his paycheck.
I will
with
say,
this
and
guy.
then also, and additionally, technology, Facebook has helped out with that a lot too, because nowadays, I don't know how strong the Facebook groups are in Arizona, but in like DFW, people will do like, hey, credibility check on Kris, credibility check on BP. What's going on?
Oh, it's such a small world in real estate investing.
Oh, yeah. And then if you screw somebody over, you're going to get burned. I mean, you're going to be just thrown out and skewered. And people, attention spans are small, and people may forget for 2 or 3 months. But that's 2 or 3 months you're not doing deals.
No, it'll stick with you, man. There was this douchebag in our market named Alberto. I'm not going to say his last name, but this douchebag what he did was he took everybody's deals and marketed them with their permission.
Yeah.
So as soon
You
as
get
you
a lot
put
of that
out
here
there,
in Dallas,
yeah,
too.
which is like I used to market other people's deals, but it was with their permission.
yeah.
And most of the time I wouldn't be blasting them out. You'd be like, hey, I got
Pocket
a deal. I
buyers.
think it's going to be like hit of my guy. This guy would just blatantly pop out deals and say, I got them under control. It caused such a huge problem with buyers and sellers and lawsuits and all kinds. Dude, this motherfucker to this day is blackballed. Like nobody will touch anything he does with a 10-foot pole because he is blackballed. And even in a big place like the DFW market or whatever market you're in, we live in a very small, tight-knit community when it comes to real estate.
Like the real players, yeah.
Oh, for sure.
yeah.
We all know each other.
Yeah.
Every single person, we all know each other, man. Rio recognizes Rio, and when you get to a certain level, you can tell who's full of shit and who's not. And once you're in the business for a certain amount of more level, then everybody's like, okay, well, shit, we know for reals that you're for reals, and we know that you know who's not for reals because you've been in this business for so long.
So I'm getting a lot of good nuggets out of here. Hopefully y'all are. One of the biggest nuggets is when you are making that transition from wholesaling to flipping, tap into your network. The people that you've sold to before, use their experiences, use their network to jumpstart your flipping game.
But
to me, that's huge.
when you're transitioning from a regular 9-to-5 into wholesaling, use your network. Call every single person that you know. Hey, this is what I'm doing. Post about it on your social media all the time. Hey guys, I'm now buying houses. Because people do business with people that they know, they like, and then they trust. So me and you, we may have the same friend. Kris may not know both of us, but because I've actually hung out with him and drank some beers and got to know his kids, he trusts me more than he trusts you. Not that you're a bad person.
Right.
So he's most likely to bring me the deal.
Yeah, so it makes sense though. It's like whether you're wholesaling or flipping or being a landlord, hey, I need a bandit sign guy. Oh, well, I use this company.
Call somebody that you know. Exactly.
That does, like if you're in DFW, you're doing bandit signs, call Tang Nguyen, and be like, hey Tang, where's the cheapest bandit signs around?
So how me and Kris got together was that we were part of a networking group called the 2% Club. And through the networking group, we had a party or whatever. Now, he was already doing a few flips. He had been a realtor for a while. I had been wholesaling for another while. He put up an ad on Facebook, and it said, hey, I got an extra ticket to a seminar about flipping. If you're interested, let me know. I was the only person that responded. I ended up flying out to Florida with him, and we ended up meeting his mentor, Robin Thompson, and then she talked about flipping, and then it was amazing. From there on, it took me probably a month or so before I lined up my first amount of money and my first flip to get into it. I called Kris pretty much on a daily basis. Hey, the contractor's telling me this. Hey, the tile guy said that he's going to charge me this much. Is that sound right or not? Hey, this happened. Hey, the inspector guy said this. Hey, the this. Hey, the that. Hey, the that.
How did you react?
I love it. I want to help people out, I want to shorten his learning curve. I want him to make money.
Had we not started the AC Flip guys, it still wasn't his benefit because he was a licensed realtor. He got every single one of my listings from that point on. I was flipping 15 houses at a time.
Right. That's
He got every single one of my listings. How, guys? Through fucking networking.
So Daniel always talks about his biggest mistake up here was doing the wholesaling, doing the flipping, and you get that check. And his biggest mistake was not learning about cash flow early on. And I know that was one, if I remember correctly when we were talking earlier before the show, that was one of y'all's mistake as well. Is that correct?
Yeah, we didn't focus it early enough, So many wholesalers and flippers have the same issue, We make good money.
Yeah.
But we don't, we still have to find another deal, find that next deal.
We call it H&B money.
What's that?
H&B money.
H&B?
Hookers and blow.
Yeah, you're wild in Dallas.
Or in somebody else's, it was boats and something else.
Boats and hoes.
Yeah. I'm not gonna say it. But you get that $10,000, $20,000, $50,000 check. You're like, and you're not used to getting those checks. It's a lot easier to go blow 50 grand than, hey, I've got a steady income of $2,500 a month for the rest of my life.
And there's no better way to pay the most amount of taxes possible than to be a wholesaler.
This is all, guys, this is all by design.
Yeah.
Every single person out there that does this is because we were programmed to. My heroes growing up in LA were rappers and athletes. Fucking idiots who had no idea when it came to money.
And they're all
fucking
broke
dumbass
now.
People. Exactly. That they were taken from extreme poverty into, hey, here's a scenario where you are now making a bunch of money and you have no idea what you're doing. And those were our heroes.
Right.
So we saw them and we thought that's what we need to do. We go up, we got to start, let me get the nice watch, let me get the nice car, let me go here. One of the books that completely changed my life, and I know you love this book, is A Millionaire Next Door. It is freaking amazing. And it teaches you, and it uses two examples, two brothers. One of them is a school teacher. The other one is a high fancy lawyer. The high fancy lawyer has a high fancy lifestyle with the nice cars, the expensive apartments and everything else. He doesn't save shit. The younger brother is a school teacher, but he's very frugal with everything and he saves. At the end of their career, when they retire, the school teacher is a millionaire on assets and all his savings and everything, investments, while the lawyer is not, even though he was making more than $1 million a year.
Right.
And we all fall for that. So guys, if you guys are jotting notes, take this down. There's a difference between working income, which is what every single one of you have been programmed to do, and passive income, which is what every single rich person, every single successful person from history to now understands, which is money coming in without you having to work. Absolutely. Working income, just like what it sounds. If you don't work, you don't get paid.
Yeah, on that, I know Mitt Romney, he got in, not trouble, but like a couple of years ago when he was running for president, everybody's like, oh, Mitt Romney, he pays next to nothing in taxes.
Yeah, great.
And it's because he literally had zero income. All his income was capital gains, all his income was passive, and people were outraged that he could be a gajillionaire with no taxes. And it's just because of the rich get richer through, capital gains,
it's
through
the
passive
same
income.
rules. Everybody plays by the same rules.
Right.
Some people choose to use this to their advantage and some don't. Real estate's the best investment that you could ever make, but what does 98% of the people do? They invest in the stock market. That's one of the worst places you can put your money.
Bitcoin!
Now don't talk shit about Bitcoin. Our rigs are running right now.
I've said it before, so on my personal side of my life, I do open mic poetry.
Oh, really?
And the majority of my audience is fucking black, right? We're brown and black. And one of the things that I talk about all the time is that how the best thing that happened to the people that control this world is that they ended slavery. Because now they can enslave everybody, not just based on skin.
Right.
But because they couldn't just say, hey, you're now a slave. They enslaved us by creating these rules, the taxes, the working, and everything else. However, they didn't want to get stuck in those rules, nor did they want their kids or their grandchildren stuck in those rules. So they created all these loopholes that are open to the fucking public. I walked into a country club last time. I wasn't stopped. I wasn't asked for my ID. I wasn't asked for my membership. They're like, where are you going? I'm going to a bar. Knock yourself out. You can pay just like everybody else. You can go start a business. They don't ask us anything. They're like, oh, you come from money? Hey, you're brown. You can't start a business.
Right. My favorite Gary Vee thing was the whole people like, I'm a woman, I'm black, I'm Mexican, I'm poor, I'm this. I was taken advantage of, and his response to all that is, and
there is always someone doing better than you who started worse than you. Wherever you are, however bad you think your freaking life was, give me your fucking sob story. There's somebody who's doing way better than you right now, who started way worse than you. Now, remember that next time you want to complain, right?
Hey, we got mad love for immigrants. My grandparents were immigrants. His parents were immigrants. I mean, the immigrant mentality, they kick their ass and they work differently. They think differently than most people. So kudos to them.
Yeah. So we were on flipping. Now we're into the next one, which is landlording. Did y'all do the single family, or did y'all just skip straight to multifamily?
I had a few single families.
Yeah, we definitely did. So when we had during the downfall, Phoenix got hit pretty hard. A lot of the South Phoenix, West Side, where we bought a lot of our properties, they took 80% hits. So we bought lots of $20,000, $30,000 houses, $15,000 condos, stuff like that. But it gets old. Dollar, a couple $100 here, a couple $100 there.
I will say, just because we talked about brunch yesterday, because we're in DFW here, and we're not really fully mentally attuned to what Phoenix is up to. But I've always thought Phoenix market was down because it's a retirement community and there's no jobs, this. And you quickly were like, no, there's 6 million people.
Not anymore. Yeah, we're huge crazy now. Now, nobody's from Phoenix. Everybody like this guy comes in from LA and everybody everywhere else. But, we're a growing hub. Yeah, it's a lot of
and you once again, networking. Everywhere I go, I have people because I network. I go to all these different events.
Little Rock.
Yeah,
that's why we're in Dallas instead of Little Rock.
Yeah, that's what the whole point of this conversation. Well, it doesn't matter. It's the point is to give good content and hopefully get those nuggets.
No, and there's a lot of people out there, guys. I know you guys are getting a lot of great information on here. We don't fall under the structure of, hey, this is the way it goes, because we don't have anything to sell you at the end. I don't need to go through my checklist so then you can run through the back of the room with your fucking credit card. I'm gonna just tell you what it is and how we did it, right? So we were talking about, we moved into flipping, right?
Single
and
family.
now you want to go through your networking.
We want to get that cash
now, How do you think I started learning about buying single family homes? I asked my fucking network.
Right.
Other people that have been flipping. I said, hey guys, you own some single family houses. Let me ask you about that. You're doing lease options. You're buying mobile homes. You're doing this. Let me ask you about it. Through all my research, I ended up in Ohio. A good friend of mine who does flipping in Phoenix, he does a lot of buy and holding in Ohio. He found this town where he can buy them fairly cheaply and then he can rent them fairly. You know, it was a crazy return of what he's getting. And I was looking into that and I said, yeah, you know, I kind of want to do that, but I was like, fuck, man, that's going to take a long time. And like doing them onesie twosie like that, and I got to get a freaking property manager and expect them to drive around with 30, 40 different properties within the same town.
And when we're thinking and running the numbers, like, man, I got to own 50, 60, 70 houses to get the kind of cash flow I'm looking for. Well, that's 50, 60, 70 roofs. That's 50, 60, 70 bathrooms, you know?
AC
and
units.
Exactly. So
especially in
we want to get it
Arizona,
all under one roof.
I'm assuming those areas, everybody knows I don't know shit, but like AC units, I know how quickly they go out here just from the heat. Arizona, I can imagine those go out like every what,
Yeah, but
20
we got
minutes?
Cesar Ion, man. He's the man. Cesar hooks us up.
Yeah,
as soon as
shout
our
out
AC
Caesar,
goes
our
out,
AC
he's the
guy.
man.
But the thing is most of our properties that we're buying, so the reason why I wanted to go to the Midwest versus buying single family in Arizona is for the price points that you can buy them versus what you can rent for the returns. As I started looking into that, I was like, fuck, I don't want to do that anymore, but we want to do some multifamily.
Right.
It's not going to happen in Arizona mainly, and it's definitely not going to happen in the Phoenix area because they're just
too
inundated.
competitive, or?
Too competitive. The type of returns that we need for the type of programs that we're putting together just didn't work out.
Right.
There's a lot of institutional money in Arizona, and so hedge funds, you know, just huge funds in general. It doesn't have to have a name in front of it. Just big money came and they bought up a lot of the apartments. So cap rates were really driven
Zillow
down.
buy everything up?
Hey, they're in our market now.
Yes.
They're wholesaling in the Phoenix market
Quick
now.
tangent, like just because people are like, oh no, Zillow's, it's like they're buying 300 to 1,000 houses per year in all of the country. That is barely even a teardrop or whatever in a bucket.
That's just
nothing.
excuses.
Exactly.
That's the same shit as, oh, well, you know, I went to a networking once and it didn't really work out. You know, that's just excuses. That's just people not wanting to get outside of their comfort zone and say, see, that didn't work. The one thing that I didn't want to do, it didn't work because, you know, it didn't give me the results that I wanted.
What I love about y'all's story is like, how many multifamily deals have y'all done?
So right now we currently own 30
Yeah, on
units.
holds, we've flipped in the past,
Okay.
but I own an 8-unit apartment. He owns a 15-unit apartment.
But this one in Little Rock is going to be the
It's going
biggest
to be
one.
26.
26,
yeah.
and then today we got a letter of intent signed for a 33-unit mobile home park.
Hell yeah.
Yes.
Because you know we wanted to get easier and easier.
Do you have experience
What's
in
easier
mobile
than
homes?
tenants?
No. But you know who does?
I do.
Somebody in my network.
I know. Why does it say something in our network too? Corey Thompson. That's literally, he basically drives all over Texas every day, and he buys up a shit ton
So
of
through
mobile homes.
networking, guys, I made a good friend. That friend introduced me to another person. Oh my God! One day we're gonna have to do a separate show. I have a story. I haven't even told you fully the story, bro. Tax liens, murder, celebrities, Olympic gold medalists. Crazy shit that was going on in this one deal. At the same time, my dad was dying, right?
God.
So I'm keeping this crazy deal together. My dad is dying. The guy that buys it from me, I don't know him personally. He knows a friend of mine. He goes out of his way to message me and says, dude, I really appreciate what you did. The fact that you did this while your dad was dying, man, that's just amazing. Like, I want to talk to you sometime in the future. I didn't know that this guy owns hundreds of mobile home lots. I didn't know that his business partner's dad owns thousands of mobile home lots, like literally hundreds of parks throughout the nation. I was able to network my way into that scenario. I've been able to have them put me into the inside of their operation. I have both of them and their dad a phone call away. So when you say, hey, I got this mobile home park over here, here's the problems, here's how it is, how have you guys dealt with it? How have you guys solved this problem? We now have people that can guide us through it.
So one thing, you know, because everything we've talked about, the transitioning, the networking, and using your network, using the people in your network to help you make it to that next level. How do you accomplish that without coming off as that leech that's just like, hey, give me your shit, give me your shit, give me your shit? You know what I'm talking about?
Oh, that's simple because we give way more than we take, man.
Right.
We're givers. You know, like we said, if you need something in our area, they give us a call, and
But you see where I'm going with that, though, right?
But that's a mentality. That's such a mentality. So
I'm just saying, there's so many people that are like, I need.
And I get that, and I'm not telling you to be that person, but I'm telling you to shift your mentality. One of my coaching students has problems accepting gifts from the universe. So I'm telling her, you got a goal for 30 days, which is accept every single compliment, accept every single thing that people bring your way. And her fucking first response is, how do I do that without feeling like a leech? God damn it. It's the mindset, right? Now, back to your question, though. You don't want to be the person that's like, hey, man, Kris, give me. No. You say, hey, Kris, here's the thing, man, is I really look up to you. I really admire what you do. I want to do what you're doing, and I have a few questions for you. And you always end it like this. By the way, what can I do for you?
What can I do for you?
That's where I was going to get to, because Grant, we did an episode on this, like, I don't know, a few weeks ago, where we're literally just like, instead of starting with the ask, and you're trying to say, I'm trying to get you as a mentor, or I want to get you as, or you as to help me. It's like, what do you need? What do you need? What do you need? What can I do for you? What can I do for you? What can I do for you? You know, and just do that over and over. And then eventually, you know, if you're looking at that whole balancing act, you're giving, and then the reciprocity kicks in.
Once again, I use analogies all the time because business, for whatever reason, it just seems to be hard for people to understand. And I always use the analogy of dating between men and women. Clients are the women. They have what we want, which is, as men is vagina, but in the business world is money, right? Whether it's their houses, relationships, whatever it is that they have. I know it's funny, but it's,
no,
it's the truth.
I'm just thinking because my girlfriend's gonna be like,
that
screw you!
Yeah, no, of course. Oh, it's not the first time. And by the way, if you have hate mail, bponce@gmail.com. It'll get logged in with all the rest of the hate mail. Not a big deal. Here's the thing, though, is that you have this dynamic. Now, as a woman, if you go up to a woman and say, hey, I got a penis, she's going to be like, so? So does every other dude in this freaking place.
Yeah.
What can you do for me? Right? So that's how you approach somebody that you want something. You don't just say, hey, man, I got something. No. Look, hey, man, here's what we can do. How can I be of benefit to you, right? When you're approaching a woman, hey, it's not that I got a penis. It's like, hey, look, I got an awesome life. You got here. We got personality. We can do this. We can go here. We can blah, 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 blah. So you paint the picture. You always paint the picture with whatever you want to do. And always, guys, you lead with flattering. Not bullshit, but flattering. So I am 35 years old. If, let's say that you're 60 years old or whatever, and then you made it in real estate. You now are a flipper, landlord, whatever, right? And then there's
your Lambo.
Exactly. Then there's a 20-something-year-old person that reminds you of you. And he comes up to you and says, you know what, Ryan, I really, really like you, man. Like, I admire everything that you do. Like, I want to be just like you. I'm willing to do whatever it takes. You know, I'll work for free.
No.
Yeah, exactly. How many people are going to say that? None. And one thing that people don't understand, one of the nuances of networking that people don't like is working for free. The concept and the power of working for free is tremendous.
It's funny because our first Facebook Live video we ever did was with Joe Boston. He runs one of the Dallas REIG here in the area. And one of his big tips was, if you don't know something, find a Kris, find a BP, and offer to work for free.
Yes.
Because people, you're going to learn so much because you guys have the knowledge, you have the time. Leverage your time to get that knowledge.
And it goes all to the same. It's adding value. Kris said that we add value. We don't just ask. We add value in every single way that we know how. Hey, man, I may not be able to do anything for you right now, but please let me know if at any given time. Dude, I'll drop. We were talking with Steve Lloyd, so we met this guy who literally owns. His company is bringing in over $1 million a month in rents. That's how many units they have throughout the U.S. and stuff. And we're asking, hey, man, we're asking him questions. There's really not much I could do for the guy.
Right.
There's not much. But the fact that I offered and said, hey, bro, if there's anything that you can do, if you're ever putting a course together, let me know. I'll help you market it. I'll share my friends. I'll tell everybody what we're doing. Which any way that you can add value to them. And you would be surprised. A lot of times it'll be simple shit.
It is simple. You know what was simple with Steven, actually, because we didn't have a lot to offer him. But he was one of the speakers. I recorded him, I uploaded it to YouTube, and I gave it to him. Nobody else did that for him. And he's like, holy shit, I didn't even expect this to happen. And it's a little thing, it's not a big thing, but you know what? He knows who I am. He remembers who BP is.
Right.
So if you ever want to ask somebody, if you guys ever want to ask somebody for advice, for mentorship, for coaching, or just a simple, just come in and ask, like I said, flattery. Hey man, I really appreciate you. I really like what you're doing. I look up to you. Big fan. Big fan. Dude, I love what the fuck you're doing. It's fucking awesome. It's inspiring. And then how can I benefit you? How can I be of benefit?
Well, it's funny because, you know, there's such a difference in mindset with that. Because I am 100% in agreement. Is that a word?
No, you're good. In agreement, yeah.
Yeah, it's a word. But I'm 100% in agreement with, like, if you don't know something and you know somebody who does know something, offer to work for free, volunteer services, get on that. And then, you know, Facebook, you gotta love Facebook because there's these people that are like, nah, you don't need to be working for free. That's bullshit. Just offer to take them for coffee, buy them lunch or something. And I'm going, and my response to that is like, I can afford coffee, I can afford lunch. You know, people real players are too fucking busy to meet everybody for coffee, for lunch. But somebody's offering, you know, to work for free, yeah, you're gonna get some attention there.
And you know what we got sick of? I'll still mute someone. You know, I mean, I definitely get where you're coming from.
Yeah, I'm not. It's not. It's not a.
Yeah, I get where you're coming from. But those people, the people who let me have an hour of your time, let me buy you coffee, they never do shit.
Yeah.
They never take the action on the advice that you give them. And one of the things that we learned at Secret Knock was to honor your mentor by you taking their advice and using it, taking action.
Well, the biggest thing is the coffee thing. So Daniel, he spent over $100,000 on all the training programs before realizing that, you know, I could probably just learn the shit from YouTube or whatever. But he's still got a lot of knowledge there. So if I'm going, hey, let me buy you coffee, it's like, wait, you want me to leverage my over $100,000 worth of education and all my time and all that experience for $5 coffee? And I don't even like coffee?
And here's the thing, guys, is that most people will still do it if and only if they believe that you're the type of person that's going to take action with it. Well, and here's the thing, is so we're talking to somebody like a Stephen Lloyd, right? And I said, I can't offer him any value at this point. But how I can offer him value is by taking his advice and doing exactly what he told me.
Yeah.
And then the next time he's like, oh shit, you actually listened to me? I didn't bring him back anything back of value. Yeah. But the fact, and I know this as a teacher myself, the one thing, like, dude, I'm like, fuck, I don't care. You don't have to pay me shit. Just fucking do what I'm telling you.
I will say, going back to what I was saying, just because, like, I don't want to come off as a complete asshole, is like, if you're going to show that you're actually going to implement and you're actually going to go out there and do it, people will have coffee with you. There's people that, you know, I've given a lot of time to just because, you know, there's a spark, there's something there. There's people I've bought books for on Amazon because I saw something that was there.
I agree.
You know, like, and those are the people you want to align with. Those are the people that you like.
Some young girl named Mona or some shit like that, she messaged me. She's like, hey, I met one of your investors named Ray at some event, and he said that you need to talk to BP. Now, she's not in my business. I don't know anything from her. I don't want anything from her.
She didn't slide into your DMs?
No, she didn't slide into my DMs. She's not my type. I have no interest in any of that. But after talking with her for about an hour, she at my house, you know, I said, do this. Here's my, before she even came, because this is what I do with all my people. You want to meet with me? Awesome. Here's my assistant's information. Give her a call. That eliminates half the people off the bat.
How ridiculous is that?
Which is crazy. You
can't call one other person, set someone
now,
up?
Then they call Christina, and then Christina's like, all right, when are you available? Tuesday, Wednesday. All right, well, Brian has this time and that time available. Half of the people don't ever respond from that.
Yeah.
So that's like 25%. And then the rest of the people that have, you know, I would say about 70 to 80% of those people actually show up. But by that point, I know that they're a little bit more serious. And that girl, I saw that she had something very valuable. I saw her literally looking into my eyes and fucking taking notes like this was the most genius fucking shit she's ever heard. So I said, you know what, give me a second. I went into my library, I said, here, go read this shit, come back to me when you're done. Came back later, grabbed her another book. I'm slowly weeding her through the process that I think is going to be most beneficial for her. Even though I'm not getting shit out of her, I'm not charging anything from her. I saw that she took my information and wanted to do something with it.
So here's a trick, and